All right, so yesterday we were looking at difference of two squares. So let's go ahead and look at this next example. This one was a practice problem, but since some of you guys were absent yesterday, I'll just review the first one with you guys, and then I'll have you try the next one on your own, okay? All right, so go ahead and copy this example on your notes. We have 4x to the third power minus 16x to the second power. Okay, so if you remember, our very first step is to look for the GCF. So if we look at a 4x cubed and the 16x squared, is there anything that I can divide evenly into both of them? The biggest thing we can take out from both of them. Can I have lefties? Tell your partner, what is the biggest thing we can divide out of both of them? Yeah, I'll post it, but we're gonna probably at the end of the week we'll have time to do it. Because I didn't really show you how to do the work. Okay, ready? So what is our GCF? Maybe I'll just call somebody. Jose Medina, what is our GCF? 4. Just 4? 4x squared. 4x squared. I can take out a 4x squared. So remember, for our steps, then you divide both of your terms by your GCF. And this goes based on like that one lesson right after the test that we did on Monday. We're looking at dividing the monomials. What happens to our exponents when we divide? What do we do to them? We subtract them. Good. So then our 4 divided by 4 is going to be 1. And then I got x cubed divided by x squared. So that's 3 minus 2 gives us just an x. Minus 16 divided by 4 is going to give us what? A 4. And then x squared divided by x squared, that's going to be 1. And then you close your parentheses. That's our very first step, is the GCF. Then our second step is to check for dots. Difference of two squares. So your perfect squares are 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, and so forth. Remember, the first thing you want to check for is the difference. Is this a difference? Do I have a subtraction? Yes, so it is a difference. But do I have two perfect squares? This has to be a perfect square, and this has to be a perfect square. So do I have two perfect squares? Yes, but this is not a squared, so it's not a perfect square. Okay? Even though that's like a 1 in the front and 1 is a perfect square, this x is not squared, so it's not a perfect squared. That is your final answer right there. Even though it's a subtraction, even though 4 is a perfect square, the x was not squared. That's why it's not a difference of two squares. Okay? I want you guys to talk about what I do. I just talked about it, so I don't know if you understood what I said. So, righties, tell your partner, how come this is not dots? Why not dots? Righties? Okay. So again, why was x minus 4 not a difference of two squares? Jocelyn? Because the x was not squared. Thank you. Jasmine, one more time. How come that x minus 4 was not a perfect square? You guys move so I don't know. Oh, you're right there. Okay. Because it's not squared. Good. Thank you. So that is your final answer. All right, what if I got something like this? X squared plus 49. Go ahead and copy that down. We saw an example like this one yesterday. X squared plus 49. Okay. So remember, step 1 is to check for a GCF. And then step 2, check for dots. So can I have righties, tell your partner, do I have a GCF? Always. And then lefties, do I have dots? Maddie, I think you said it again. Did you have a pass? No. Did you just get here? No. I'm just Okay, so righties again, do you have a GCF? And lefties, do you have dots? All right, so on a count of 3, tell me, do I have a GCF? Yes or no? Ready? Tell me in 3, 2, 1. No GCF. Okay. So I don't have a GCF. What about dots? Do I have dots? Tell me in 3, 2, 1. No dots. How come I don't have dots? Because this is positive. So I can't do anything to it. So what do we write for our answer? Prime. Good. So I didn't have a GCF. I didn't have dots. So we just say prime. Okay. All right. Good. Next one, you guys go ahead and try this one on your own. We have 8x to the third minus 2x. So remember again, you're looking for GCF. And then step 2, check for dots. You guys are trying this one? All right, well, if you think you're finished, show me. Raise your hand so I can come around and check your work. Anybody else? Except for career force two, then the X is 1. Yeah. That is the yeah. On the Anybody else? Finished? Okay, so I said what's the square root of 4? It'll be 2. It'll be 2x and 2x. Okay. What was your GCF here? 2x. I can take out a 2x, so if I divide by 2x from both of those, what am I going to get? 8 divided by 2 gives you what? 4. And then x cubed divided by x is going to be what? X squared. And then minus 2 divided by 2 is 1. X divided by x is 1. So this is just going to be a 4x squared minus 1. And I saw some of you just stopped there. But don't forget you got to check for dots. So do I have a difference of 2 squares? Is this a difference? Do I have a subtraction? Yes. Do I have 2 perfect squares? We got 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, and so forth. So are 4 and 1 both on the list? Yes. Is this a x squared right here? That's a x squared. That means these are 2 perfect squares, so you can split it into 2 binomials. So bring down your GCF and write your 2 parentheses. And remember, we're taking the square root of each of those. So what's the square root of 4x squared? That's going to be what? 2x. And a 2x, not squared because the square root cancels out the squared. And then what's the square root of 1? 1. So you put 1 on both of those. And then you put a minus and a plus, or a plus and a minus. That order doesn't matter. And then I don't have any more x's, so x squareds, so we're finished there. Okay? All right. So that one was a little bit complicated, I guess. So go ahead and try this next one before we move on to higher powers. We got 3x squared minus 6. Go ahead and copy this one. And again, step 1, you're looking for a GCF. Step 2, you're looking for dots. Okay, I want to see at least 7 of you with a correct answer so we can move on. So if you finish, raise your hand. Okay, thank you. I got 1 person. 2. No, never mind. You're close. You're missing some for 3. So I got 2 people. Anybody else? No. Okay, 3, 4 people. 3, 5, 6. Wait a second. 7, good. And 8, 9, good. So, what's our GCF here? 3. Our GCF is 3. I can take out a 3 from both of those. 3 divided by 3 is just 1. So you're left with x squared. And 6 divided by 3 gives you what? 2. So that's a minus 2. And then you check for dots. So 1, 4, 9, 16. And you're checking, do you have a difference? Yes, you have a subtraction, right? Do you have 2 perfect squares? Is x squared a perfect square? And is 2 a perfect square? So do you have dots? No. 2 is not a perfect square. So therefore you are finished and that's your answer. Okay? All right. So that's what we did yesterday. Let's now see examples with a higher power. So, all right, I'm trying to zoom in. So go ahead and copy this example. X to the 5th minus 81x. You guys need to put your phones away. If you can't put your phones away, you're going to go on my desk for the rest of the period. All right, so I want you to lefties tell your partner what is our GCF here. Okay, tell me the GCF in 3, 2, 1. X. Good. So I have an X for GCF. I can divide both of those by X. So if I do that, X to the 5th divided by X, that's 5 minus 1 is going to give us X to the what power? 4. Minus X divided by X is going to cancel. It becomes 1. So I'm left with 81. And then you're looking for your perfect squares. So for your perfect squares for dots, we have 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So 81 is a perfect square. And remember, if you don't have something right here, that means it's like a 1. So I have the 1 and I have the 81 on the list. But then I have the x4. We haven't seen an x to the 4th yet. So I got to figure out, is that a perfect square? Can I split that into 2 that'll multiply by itself 2 times to give me an x to the 4th? I could get an x squared times an x squared, right? That means it is a perfect square because I can split it into 2 terms that are the same. So x to the 4th is a perfect square. That means I do have dots. So I can split it up into 2 binomials. So bring down your GCF. And that's going to be 2 binomials. So take the square root of x to the 4th. We just talked about this. What splits it evenly into what? X to the 2nd, x to the 2nd. And square root of 81 is what? 9. So that's a 9 and a 9. And then what do I put in between each of them? A plus and a minus. And then I still have a squared. So you want to double check if you don't have dots anymore. Okay? So again, what does the D stand for? Difference, which means I'm looking for a subtraction, right? This is an addition, so I can't do anything to that one. But then I have to figure out, is this a difference of 2 squares? Yes, because I have 1 and 9. I have a subtraction, and I have an x squared. So I can still split that one. So this is going to be x, and then x squared plus 9. What can I split that middle term into? This is square root of x squared becomes x, and square root of 9 is 3. And then I need 1 subtraction, 1 addition. So then this is our final answer. Because I don't have any other squares other than this last one. This is my only other square that I have. But that's an addition, so it's not a difference. And that's your final answer. Okay? So sometimes when you end up with an x to the 4th power, you might have dots 2 times. So you're going to have to split it twice. Okay? All right, next example, we got 4x to the 5th minus x. Go ahead and copy this one. Okay, and ready, set partner with the GCF? All right, tell me what's the GCF in 3, 2, 1. X. Okay, good. So if I divide both of those by the GCF, what are we left with? So 4 divided by 1 is 4. And then x to the 5th divided by x is going to be x to the what power? 4th. Minus x divided by x, what happens there? So is it 1 or 0? I saw this a lot in Bulldog Block yesterday. What's anything divided by itself? 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. X divided by x is 1. Okay? Anything divided by itself is 1. So be careful with that. All right, so then I got 4x to the 4th minus 1, and then I have to check to see if I have dots. So I got 1, 4, 9, 16, and so forth. Do I have 2 perfect squares? Yes, what are they? 4 and 1, right? Or 1 and 4. X to the 4th is even. So if that's even, that's always going to be squared, okay? And I do have a subtraction, so I can split this into 2 binomials. And I'm looking for the square roots. So if I take the square root of 4x to the 4th, what's the square root of 4? 2. And a square root of x to the 4th is x squared. And square root of 1 gives you 1. And then you have a minus and a plus. Just like in the last example, we had to check if there's any more dots. And we really only care about the subtraction one because that's a difference. So is this a difference of 2 squares? Go ahead and lefties tell your partner, is that 2x squared minus 1 a difference of 2 squares? All right. If you said yes, raise your hand. Is this a difference of 2 squares? Raise your hand. Okay, if you say no, raise your hand. If you have no idea, raise your hand. Okay, thank you. So I got like even amount of hands for each option. So let's talk about that. Is this a difference? What does the D stand for? Subtraction. Do I have a subtraction? Yes. Do I have 2 perfect squares? No, why not? Which one is not a perfect square? The 2. The 2 is not on the list right there, so it's not a perfect square, which means I don't have dots. That means that's your final answer right there. Okay? I do not have dots because 2 is not a perfect square. All right. Now I want you guys to go ahead and practice this one. 16x to the 5th minus 9x. This is a practice problem, so you guys are trying this one. Check for a GCF, and then check for dots. Alright, and I want to see another like 7 of you guys with the correct answers so we can move on. Okay, good. I have one person. Okay, so far I only got one person with the correct answer. What's your answer? Okay, good. I got 2 people. 3. Okay, 4. Oh, I see. Okay, 5. 6. 7. 3 is not. So, so is there a GCF? Well, the only factors in that are 1, 3, and 9. If you're just saying what's 16 and 9, how many times is that? Oh, this is great. And then right here, check our 9. So the door. Great. Yeah, good job. All right, is yours the same? Yeah, good job. All right, that was like about 10 of you guys with the correct answer. Good job. All right, so what was our GCF here? X. X is our GCF. Only X because the only factors are 9 are 1, 3, and 9. 3 does not go into 16 and 9 does not go into 16. So I can only take out an X from both of those. And I'm going to be left with 16x to the what power? 4th minus what? 9. And then you check for dots. I got 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. Do I have perfect square? 2 perfect squares? Yes, I got my 9 and 16. And I do have a difference in the x is the 4th, so I do have a perfect square. So I need to split this into 2 binomials. Well, what's the square root of 16x to the 4th? 4x squared. And the square root of 9 would be what? Square root of 9? 3. And then 1 minus and 1 plus. And then check, did you still have dots? This was the subtraction one, so do I still have dots? No, why not? 3 is not a perfect square, yes. You got it? Okay. So the 3 again is not a perfect square, so you're finished because you don't have a difference of 2 squares. And you can't do anything else. Okay? What time does the bell ring? 30? Okay. Last example, and then I'll let you guys get started on the assignment. Go ahead and copy this one. All right, and when you're finished, show me your paper. Okay, I got one person. Okay, good. 2, 3, good. Okay, good. 4, 5, 6. Okay, good. 7, 8. Okay, good. All right, so what's our GCF here? 2x squared. If I divide everything by 2x squared, what are we left with? 2 divided by 2 is 1. And x to the 6 divided by x squared, you subtract the x one, it's going to give us x to the what power? 4th. And then 8 divided by 2 is 4. And then x squared divided by x squared is 1. So I get x to the 4th plus 4. And then you check for dots. What does the D stand for again? Difference, which means subtraction. Is this a subtraction? No. That means you do not have dots, and that's your final answer right there. Okay? All right. And I'm going to go ahead and stop there so that you have time to work on your homework. So rest of the period, you guys have homework. Just finish the rest of it. I had assigned, like, I don't know, however many of them, like 7 or so. But now I want you to finish the whole assignment. You guys can listen to music as long as your phone is not, like, glued to your hand. You got to be working.